bear witness that there is no one worthy of worship but Allah, our sustainer, our creator, our cherisher, the one who sent us in this world for a short and appointed time. And after that time is up, we'll all be returning to Allah. The God, the Lord of Adam and Noah and Abraham and Moses and Jesus and Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخرى يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this verse is talking about this beautiful deed that we are all trying to practice in this month of Ramadan, which is fasting. And he says that this fasting was given to other nations before us. Other prophets, other messengers, their people, they also fasted until Allah completed His favor and gave us this beautiful gift, the gift of the month of Ramadan. And wrapped in lots of beautiful blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's like when somebody's bringing you a really amazing gift and you're really anticipating this gift and it's all wrapped and you're approaching this and you are having this zeal and this happiness and the joy in the way that you approach it. And Allah's gifts are every second and every minute of Ramadan is a blessing. Just saying Subhanallah, just saying La ilaha illallah, just saying Allahu Akbar. But I want to bring attention to something really important, that some of our brothers and sisters in our community may not be able to fast with us as we're fasting. They may not be able to join us for the night prayer, for the Tarawih. They may not be able to join the night prayers. They may not be able to come and join us for fasting. And this is something that we have to pay attention to, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us in Ramadan, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. This fasting is given to you, this month of Ramadan is given to you so you become more aware, more conscious. If we are just thinking about how many days I fasted, how many pages I have read Quran, how many good deeds I have done, without even being aware of others that might be going through difficulty or suffering, or people in our community that might be going through a certain type of difficulty that at the minimum should have our empathy, awareness and du'as, then what type of awareness and consciousness as Muslims we're developing? Because a community is defined by the way that it treats the weakest and the most vulnerable. We as a community, how we treat our weakest and our most vulnerable, that's how we're defined. A nation is defined by how it treats its most weak, most marginalized, and most vulnerable. And right now, the entire world is judged by Palestine and the weakest and the most marginalized and most oppressed at this moment. Anywhere in the world, this is the gold standard. If you as a Muslim, you want to pray your Tarawih, and you want to have khushu, and you want to have all these beautiful things and the sound system and all this nice lighting, and you want to come to the masjid and you want to have your experience, but you completely are divorced from the experience of others that may not be able to achieve that or approach that or understand that or even access that, and you have no empathy for them, then it is something to say about who we have become as Muslims. Islam is not an individualistic religion. It is a deen of community. It is a deen of individual cultivation while the sense of empathy and compassion for the community and for those who are most marginalized. What I'm talking about specifically in this khutbah, even though our time is short, is anxiety, depression, mental health, and Ramadan. I'm just going to share some facts with you. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. We as Muslims should be aware. We as Muslims should be at the forefront of these efforts. Whether it is taking care of the social justice issues, whether it is taking care of the marginalized and the weak, whether it's taking care of our parents that are becoming senior citizens and completely becoming, people that nobody knows how to connect with, and society is completely losing touch with our elders and our seniors, or whether it's our sick and vulnerable and people that are going through these challenges. Anxiety and depression are one of the top reasons for disability around the world. 21% adults are experiencing in America, 21% adults in America experience mental illness, which is about 50 million people. That is not a simple number. 50 million people have some level of mental illness. 55% of them receive no treatment. 5% adults, 12 million people report serious thoughts of suicide. And we have seen this issue, in our own community. We've experienced the Allen incident, other incidents that have kept coming up in Dallas and around the world, around the country. And this is even higher. This number is even higher, the suicidal thoughts. It's about 11%, double that, 24, it's double that, basically, in multiracial adults. 1 in 10 youth in the US are experiencing depression. That is severely impairing their ability to function at school, at work, home, with family, or their social life. About 6.3% of youth in the US reported a substance use disorder in the past year. This is equivalent to about 1.5 million youth in the US. 60% of the youth with major depression do not receive mental health treatment. An estimated 9% of the US population, 28 million Americans, will have an eating disorder in their lifetime. 28 million, about 10%, every 10 in every 100 people. And our community is not immune from that. Muslims are not immune from that. They have eating disorders in their lifetime. 15% women will suffer from an eating disorder by their 40s or 50s, and only 27% of them will receive treatment, and only 4% of males, 6 million people, had experienced an eating disorder at some stage of their lifetime. There are people in our community, my brothers and sisters, that are not able to fast with us. And they have some type of medicine they're on. Maybe they're battling depression, they're battling anxiety, and they're not able to come out of the regimen. There are times that between the doctor and the imam, you're able to come to a solution where if you're moving your medication to suhoor and iftar, it's able to give you that ability to fast. But not everybody's able to do that. For some people, their symptoms and their issues and the challenges aggravate when they come off that regimen. Some people are not able to go beyond a certain sleep schedule and mess up their circadian rhythm, and it really affects their mood and their recovery, and it makes it so difficult for them to stand for a longer time in prayer or to come to the masjid for a long, nice experience, a beautiful transformation experience we have standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at night. So my brothers and sisters, there's so many people that have eating disorders that they're not able to really fast. People that have social anxiety, they're not able to come out into the crowd. If you have a child, if you have a family member that suffer from any of these things, the first thing they need is your awareness, number one. And the second thing they need is your empathy and to really feel heard and listened to. That do we really understand them? Do we really connect with them? Do we really hear them? Do we really see them? And the third thing, the awareness, empathy, and the third thing is that how can we really show our support? How can we as a community show our support? How can we as a community have that sense of care? This is where Allah says in this verse, you've heard it many times, but I wanted to highlight this specific thing, that one of these beautiful gifts, the gold, this treasure that Allah is giving us, Ramadan, despite whether they're able to fast or not, despite if they're able to come and pray with us at night or not, this Ramadan and the blessings of Ramadan and Allah's mercy and rahmah, the same God and His mercy and His rahmah is also available for them. And not just available for them, but it's available in many multiple folds. And this is where I'm going to talk about in the next few minutes. That Allah says, Allah intends for you ease. Why did Allah make space in that beautiful ayah for this specific thing? He stopped and He said, Allah intends for you ease. Who is Allah talking to? So those of you that are having that difficulty, that challenge, you're not able to fast, you're not able to follow through, you're not able to come out to the masjid, know that Allah does not forget you. Even if your community forgets you sometimes, Allah does not forget you. And Allah saying that Allah intends for you ease and does not intend for you hardship. And Allah's mercy and help are those are close to you. Abu Darda reported from the Prophet ﷺ, the Rasulullah said, seek out your vulnerable on my behalf. Verily, you're only given provision and support from Allah due to the weak amongst you. When the Sahaba, they used to come and thinking that we have all this courage and we are strong and we're able to do all these things. The Prophet told them that Allah provides you that courage and that sustenance and that rest is because of those elderly, because of those weak, because of those vulnerable. When you feel like you're so stressed because you have to take care of your elderly parents, or you have to take care of the vulnerable in our community, you have to go and show up with these people, and sometimes maybe you're not able to come to the masjid because you have to take care of these people, or maybe you're not able to join the community. My brothers and sisters, Allah provides for you and me through our weak, through our vulnerable. Rasulullah ﷺ, he said that seek me, find me the messenger, find me Muhammad ﷺ among the poor and the weak. Truly, you're given victory and you're provided for on account of the poor amongst you. So a community is defined by how we take care of our weak and our vulnerable. To understand that this happens, a percentage of our community, a good percentage of our community is going through this difficulty. But having that love and that affection and that no judgment, please don't try to give these people advice if you don't really understand the issues, if you haven't talked to the doctors, if you haven't talked to the scholars. Don't go give these people advice without knowing what they're really going through. Don't do that. And we are really quick on giving people advice. A new convert, a new Muslim, how they're praying, we all feel like now we have to all educate these people. Don't educate people, don't advise people unless you educate yourself. And don't educate people unless you connect and show up and make them feel that you're there for them. And that you have that heart-to-heart connection, unless you're there to serve them. Really important that we, as a community, let go of this judgment and really be there for these people and have that extra kindness and rahmah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us that tawfiq. Just a couple of points before I conclude the khutbah. For those of you that are listening to this and you have had trouble, or you have family members that have trouble fasting or getting up for salah or changing, and they're going through illness or sickness or difficulty, they're not able to fast, just tell them how much Allah loves them. How much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves them. That if you go and visit them while they're sick, Allah sent 70,000 angels to pray for your maghfirah. If you go at night until Fajr. If you go in the morning until the evening. If 70,000 angels are making dua for you just to visit them, how many angels are making dua for them as they're going through this difficulty? Allah says in the really last point I'll make from brothers and sisters that are going through this difficulty, Allah is not saying, so that you can pray 8 rak'ah, 20 rak'ah, come to the masjid, Allah is saying, the main purpose, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you become conscious of Allah. You become aware of Allah. You can be conscious. The beautiful thing about this is not about doing more, it's about becoming more. Of course, we do more as much as we can. But those brothers and sisters that are not able to, they can't, then know that it's not just about doing more, it's about becoming a better version of yourselves, becoming more conscious and aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remembering that Allah is with the patient. Remembering God is with those who are going through difficulty. Remembering that God's mercy is holding you and holding you and near you. And this is why the next verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala goes right into this. The next verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that those of them, and when my servants ask me, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي أَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ, when my servants ask you concerning me, tell them, I am near. I am near. Even if you're not able to do things because you're sick, you're having difficulties, know God is near. I respond to the invocation of the supplicant when he or she calls upon me. Let them respond to that. Let them seek out to me. Believe in me, they will be rightly guided. Allah is near me. Allah is with me. Allah's mercy surrounds me. Give yourself that compassion and that kindness and know that Allah is with you. Never give up hope. Never give up hope. And remember that taqwa, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ and لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ, one of the two of the key purpose of fasting. How to be more God conscious, how to be more grateful. They don't always require you to do more if you cannot do more. They require you to become more, become a better version of yourself. You can sit down in your home and be in a state of gratitude of Allah, no matter what Allah is putting you through. You can be aware and conscious of Allah. That يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ. Allah says that these are people that are standing, sitting, even reclining on their bed, they're making dhikr of Allah, they're remembering Allah, and Allah remembers you. Allah mentions you, and the angels surround you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant our brothers and sisters that are going through this difficulty, whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, any type of difficulty, our brothers and sisters, our communities, people that are going through oppression, everyone that's wounded or suffering or overcoming, many of our children that all the difficult images and graphics that we're seeing out of Palestine or anywhere else in the world, people are in suffering or in oppression. May Allah grant them His afiyah and barakah and mercy and rahmah. And Allah loves you so much, and Allah holds you in His compassion and rahmah. Inni rahmati wasiyat kulla shay. Allah says, my rahmah surrounds all things. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy be with you. May Allah's healing be with you. May Allah's afiyah be with you. Ameen. May Allah forgive all our shortcomings. May Allah accept all our deeds.